Anakin.
Doom Nation, what's up? We're back once again with another Doom review. As always, it's Skaggs and the Captain. How you doing today, pal?
Doing all right. We are back to review the finale of Obi-Wan-Kenobi, episode 6.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it was a long but short journey at the same
Yeah.
time. A little short on the time, 51 minutes. Let's get right into it right off the bat. Didn't think it was enough. We'll break it down and I'll see what you have to say.
Yeah.
I'm
I
interested
got a
to
few
pick your brain
things
on this
to
one.
nitpick about this.
Yeah, man.
There was some really good aspects and some things that I can't let go on this one.
Yeah, definitely. It begins with some cool shots, I guess, right in space,
Yeah.
right where we left off. Vader's Star Destroyer is pursuing the refugee ship that Obi-Wan is on. It did remind me a lot of the original movies. Like it looked very similar to the way they shot that back then with the Star Destroyer and whatnot. Thought it was cool. It was a lot like that, like where it wasn't over the top space fighting. It was like one big ship against one little ship.
Yeah.
I thought
And
that
it's
was
always
pretty cool.
amazing that just this giant ship can't do jack shit against any of these little tiny Millennium Falcon sized ships and these refugee ships that are half broken.
Yeah, just like the stormtroopers, the Star Destroyers are a terrible shot as well. They
Yeah.
can never really hit their target. Yeah.
Very poor quality on the Empire's side. I don't know who their contractors are, who their engineers, their R&D. Just it's all
The military industrial complex for the Empire is not producing weapon, guidance systems that are accurate enough.
Yeah. But whoever makes, like the rebel ships are just spot on. That's who they should be hiring.
Yeah, just a bunch of guys with wrenches, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the episode goes on, and I don't like the way they set this up. Right, Obi-Wan decides he's going to pull the exact same move he did in the prior episode, which is, look, Vader wants me, he doesn't want you, therefore I will cause a distraction to get everyone to get away. Very lazy story writing. They just used that move in the prior episode, and now they're going to use it again. Just now we're in space, and we're going to do the same thing. I don't know. What do you think?
It's your typical hero story, throwing himself on the grenade. He will be the diversion, so all the innocent people could get away. The problem I had with the way this part of the story was set up was I knew nothing crazy. I knew nothing extremely crazy was going to happen because Leia's on the ship, and Leia lives. Everyone else could die, but Leia's gonna live.
True.
So I knew they were getting away somehow. So which makes it even lazier to just pull out the exact same stop that they did the episode before. You knew that Obi-Wan and Vader were gonna make it all about them, and you knew Obi-Wan was gonna take the hero's route and depart from all the refugees. He saw it coming a million miles away.
There was no creativity at all.
Yeah. And my biggest pet peeve of this episode was from what I can tell, this is happening simultaneously.
Right.
All of a sudden, Reva is stabbed in the stomach and left to die. And Vader hops on his ship, which is maybe 10 minutes away from where he attacked Reva. And they're in pursuit of Obi-Wan and Leia. But Reva just stands up, dusts herself off, hops in a ship, poof, Tatooine, right outside of Luke Skywalker's door. Within seconds. They've been chasing each other for 5 minutes, and Reva's already on another fucking planet.
Yeah, they pulled a Game of Thrones teleportation thing, and just put her on there just to advance towards the end of the story. Also, I mean, like, are we to believe that you just survive stabs through the chest with lightsabers easily? Yes, like
her second one.
her second one, right? Also, the Grand Inquisitor did. It's a lot to believe. Yes, it's Star Wars. Yes, they have the Force, but I mean, boy, it's hard to sell that to me. Well, that she was injured, but she was still able to like you say, just teleport across the map.
Yep.
Just no issue whatsoever with the stab wound.
Remember that line from the Predator when Jesse the Body Ventura gets hit and he's bleeding and they're under attack and he's like, I don't got time to bleed. That's she just stood up. She's like, I don't got time for this shit, and just hopped on a spaceship and was out.
They should have used something like that. It would have made me laugh at least.
Yeah. Sheesh. But she gets stabbed twice. The Grand Inquisitor gets stabbed and lives. Vader takes his beating and obviously lives. But all these other Jedis, boom, 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 boom. The whole race dying. The Inquisitors have no problem wiping out the universe's greatest heroes, the Avengers of the Star Wars, saga, right. Taking out all these Jedis. But these people are getting stabbed and shot multiple times and living through it all.
Yeah, it really is very lazy. So we see. All right. So one of the things I wanted to point out was something I thought was maybe a little bit creative is Leia gave Obi-Wan that little droid. Because she was talking about how it makes the other people feel like comfortable and less afraid, and that was kind of a callback to episode 3 where he was telling her, like trying to comfort her and make her feel less afraid. So she kind of paid back. So I thought that was a little creative. At least I enjoy stuff like that.
I do.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I do like I episode 1, episode 6. Of this series, I liked seeing young Princess Leia, and you can really see how this shapes her future.
Yes,
I think that was done very well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, they these were some lessons she learned, and she already was like a spicy little girl, but now she's gone through an ordeal which is going to shape her to be like a great princess in the future. So Reva gets to Tatooine. She, they quickly just advance the plots, find out a way that she then now knows exactly where Luke is, by going into a bar.
Asking one person.
Very convenient. Again, the plot's moving at warp speed here. Obi-Wan and Vader then decide to land on a random rocky planet because it just felt like if they're going to fight, they got to do it on the ground somewhere, right? They're not going to fight each other in the void of space. So they just picked a rock with no one on it, and they both land there, and they're going to have this final duel, which we saw was coming,
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at. The fight was cool. I thought maybe the best part of the fight itself was this scene right behind us, the shot of the two of them from far away and the moon in the background. I thought it was a pretty dope shot, very creative. It just looked really cool.
I thought the background you were going to give me was Vader sitting in his chair and looking out at the lava towards the end.
Oh yeah.
But I thought the fight was awesome. I thought it was great. I really did. I have stuff to comment as we get through with it. But you're right. They just, they're flying through space and all of a sudden, oh look, an uninhabited planet.
Right.
We could go fight there. Perfect.
I've noticed, man, they just do things to do them. Like there's nothing, there's no explanation. There's not much like development behind the scenes. I enjoyed the fight. It was cool. One criticism I have is where's John Williams? The music was not like that epic new thing you should have expected from this, like a Duel of the Fates. Like there was nothing like that. I mean, there was music, but not. Are you going to remember any of the music from?
No, I didn't even. To be honest with you, I didn't even realize there was music. Nothing like Duel of the Fates. I mean, that comes on, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. So they missed that. Obi-Wan just, in my opinion, he got his powers back. Vader did comment on it. You've gotten your power back. I didn't feel like it was fully earned 100% through the entire show. I didn't get much of an understanding of how he did it, besides the fact that he was just on the run the whole time and shit was happening to him.
Yeah.
I thought like a little more Force Ghost mentoring thing happening now would have made more sense to get him back to full Obi-Wan strength.
Yeah. Once again, 6 episodes is too short. That it's never going to be enough. And then what we were worried about last week, you shoved too much into one episode. You know, it could have been there could have been 3 more episodes. One of Obi-Wan and Vader, one of Reva's traveling, and one of, you know, the final fight, or, you know, the conclusion. But we shoved too much into one episode where Reva's teleporting, planets are popping out of thin air, you know.
Yeah. My biggest criticism here is going to be there's no dialogue. Like there's no good writing of any dialogue that's going to stand out, or, you know, you're going to really remember that well. Were there a couple things here? Yes. You know, they have this duel that we've been waiting for. Finally, they say a few words to each other. You know, I thought they missed a gigantic opportunity to tie things back into the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
There was a scene with Luke and Vader where Luke, essentially, this is towards the end, where Luke tells Vader, you know, he's like, what does he say? He's like, there's still good in you. I could sense it. Luke tells Vader, and Vader says back to him, he goes, Obi-Wan once thought as you do. And that was unexplained, right? Because you never saw any time that Obi-Wan and Vader interacted after the transformation into Vader, right? They never had that conversation. This was the chance for that dialogue, some well-written dialogue to occur, to then fill in that part of the original trilogy, which made no sense. It didn't happen. That conversation never occurred in this. Yeah. There was some conversation, and I thought it was decent, but I just feel like something's wrong here in terms of Lucasfilm. Like they don't know how to write good stuff anymore or something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have some comments on the fight. I thought the fight was awesome. Maybe the Force Ghost should have popped up when Obi-Wan was under all the rocks.
Right. I thought that was a natural place.
But, yeah. When he finally clapped back and all those rocks raised around him and he threw them at Vader, thought that was awesome. Then when Vader started getting his ass beat, the voice changing between Christian Haydenson and Earl Jones was very good. If you caught it was a little bit of both. It
was menacing too. It was like, like I was pretty terrifying hearing both voices at the same time. That was well done. Yes.
And it shows that Vader's weakness is his suit. You fuck up that control panel, it slows him down a little bit. Which was always, I always found his suit so interesting with all the buttons and stuff on it. So like it as like a fan of Vader and a longtime fan of Star Wars, it's nice to see that there's purpose to this other than just to make him look like a space bad guy. But what I was noticing was how bright the lightsabers were on this planet. When Obi-Wan was talking and saying he was sorry to Anakin, the blue lightsaber was very bright, and you could see the blue shining off his face. You could even see some of the blue shining off of Anakin's face, because he split the helmet. But then when he said, when Vader said, I killed Anakin, then the red lightsaber, then the reflection and the glow of the red lightsaber took over everything.
Interesting. And I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then Obi-Wan finally says, stop saying Anakin and says goodbye, Vader. So Darth,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Darth, or whatever it was. I don't disagree with you. Big missed opportunity to have this dialogue to make the call back to A New Hope, or to whenever Luke and Vader had that conversation. I kind of feel like that's what, like, it was symbolism of like the light and the dark.
It was.
And and that's when Obi-Wan knew there was no more good left in Anakin. The dark side took over.
I think that
but it wasn't said. It was, you know.
Yeah. I think maybe that conversation also kind of rationalized how he didn't, old Ben told Luke, your father's dead. Essentially, I guess they're kind of trying to rationalize that. Like, no, he basically is dead in this, and you saw here where Anakin's like, no, I killed Anakin. Vader, I killed Anakin. So I guess you could say that's where he got that idea from. I did like the whole broken mask and the the two sides essentially. It did strike a chord with me when Obi-Wan was telling him I'm sorry. Like it struck a nerve with me. Like I felt the emotion in that scene. But one of the things I noticed is like the show didn't earn that scene. The stuff that happened previously in the prequels and then in the the originals, that was kind of earned to me by that stuff. Nothing the show did really set up that conversation. Like I was hoping for some more from the show to add to that.
Told you it was gonna be too much in one episode.
Yeah, and just it just felt like it was lacking to me, man. It really did.
Yeah.
It was too dark too. I understand like the dark.
Oh
everything
my
was so
God,
dark I
yes.
couldn't see, and I had my blinds closed. I have a big TV. I had all the lights off in the house, and it was still too dark. Kind of reminded me of the Long Night from Game of Thrones, where the Battle of Winterfell was so dark you couldn't see anything that was occurring. Why? I get it. It has to be at nighttime for lightsabers to look cool, but shit, you could have made it a little bit brighter so we could have seen what was going on somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean, look at behind us. Look how dark it is, even behind us in this. Yeah.
The green, the camera is actually having a hard time catching the green screen right on the edge because it's so dark.
So I don't know, man. You got any other thoughts you want to say on the fight before I move on to the next point?
The fight itself was entertaining as hell. I wish there was some cool music behind it. I really do.
Definitely.
I thoroughly enjoyed the fight. But once again, the Jedi way, man, it's garbage. Obi-Wan admits that Anakin is dead. Goodbye, Darth, right? And just like Obi-Wan like thinks he's never going to see him again, you have your enemy on his knees right there. Take him the F out.
Yeah.
That was Anakin's entire thing. We are the Jedi Council. The Jedi are the most powerful. We can end this war now. And the Jedi Council at every turn screwed Anakin over, and the war continued. And Obi-Wan was at fault because he followed the Jedi Council's orders that, and essentially turned his back on Anakin to make him join the dark side. And once again, Obi-Wan sticks to the Jedi Council's ways and doesn't finish the job. Granted, yes, we wouldn't get any of the movies we did. And, obviously we knew Vader was going to live, but it just, you let him live again.
Yeah. You could criticize like the Jedi in terms of just like, the lore, but you could also criticize that in terms of maybe some more lazy storytelling, right? Yeah. This only occurred because this is the way they wrote the story, that Obi-Wan makes the exact same decision and mistake he does over and over and over again, right? Did they have to write the story that this occurred again? No, they didn't, right? They wrote the story. This is not real life, right? We're watching something someone wrote, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over. So yeah, I agree with you there, man.
Let's teleport to Tatooine.
Right. Yes, and on the way we sense that Luke is in danger, as Obi-Wan does, right? It was interesting to see Owen and the wife. They're not completely useless. They decided they were going to.
I had respect for that.
Yeah, they self-defense, Second Amendment. You saw they whipped out the guns they were hiding, right? It is important, even in the Star Wars universe. Some psychopath might come with a lightsaber to your house and try and steal your kid. Moses Ingram didn't do it for me. Her scene, then she has like a come to Jesus moment or epiphany, seeing Luke down that she was a Padawan. Didn't get much emotion from it. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. And she carries Luke back to Uncle Owen, where then Obi-Wan, of course, comes right in the nick of time to observe the whole thing go down. I thought also a little bit of an error was made here in the episode before. I mentioned that on that hologram thing, Bail Organa had said that he would be going to Tatooine to protect the child.
Never showed up.
He never showed up. Right. So what did they forget that they put that in the episode or something? I mean, I was a little bit lazy right there. Caught that right away. I thought there would have been everyone would have met up and there would have been like this, something would have happened there, but forgot, it seems. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't get too much emotion this come to Jesus moment from Reva. Mad respect for Owen. Not just this simpleton farmer, out there, living paycheck to paycheck, however you want to paint the guy, was ready to stand and fight and really did love Luke. Really does love Luke, I should say. And, they were prepared to protect him. My problem is, and I've said this 100 times, and Doom Nation's my fault. I don't have the time. I really wish I got to watch A New Hope before we got to this point, because here's Luke as a kid being chased by a Sith Jedi, somebody with the Force and a lightsaber. And now we fast forward 20 years, 15 years, whatever. Luke has no idea what the Force is and never seen a Jedi before, never seen a lightsaber before. Did you just forget this traumatic experience of some crazed woman with a sword chasing you through the desert at night?
So I had a feeling you were going to make this point, and I do think they kind of explained that a little bit, because Luke never explicitly saw her. He was told
he did get knocked out.
He was told that Sand People or Tusken Raiders or whatever are going to attack them. When she comes into the room he was hiding in, he was already leaving. His head was up, like out the hole.
Yeah.
He was then running away. He never really saw her. Then he gets knocked out. She carries his body while he's unconscious, puts him down. So I guess he never really ever saw her.
Maybe, I guess.
I guess that's kind of how they rationalize it. But they then completely undo that by, in my opinion, completely breaking continuity. And afterwards, when Obi-Wan returns, after this is all said and done, he returns later to bring Owen some stuff and tell him, I'm not going to bother you again. Owen asks him, do you want to meet him? And Obi-Wan agrees. And he says, we get the hello there, right?
Yeah.
That breaks continuity because
it doesn't actually.
Why not?
If you remember when Luke finds out that he has in A New Hope, when Luke finds out that he has to find Ben Kenobi, he knows that Ben is an old man who lives in the desert. He knew as an adult when New Hope starts, he knows that there's an old man named Ben that lives out in the desert of Tatooine.
Yes, he knows
it
of
could
him,
be from
but
that.
It seemed like if you again, you got to watch it, right? I remember he doesn't really know the guy at all. When it seems like they don't know each other. He knows of him, but they don't know each other. But in the show, they've been introduced. That would lead you to believe you know the guy, or you might remember him at least, that you've met him before. It just doesn't make sense to me. Another scene that made no sense to me was, we get back to Leia on Alderaan, and she's there with Bail Organa, who just didn't show up. And they're talking to her, and they fly Obi-Wan in for 5 minutes to say goodbye. They fly him in to say goodbye, then he leaves. It's just like, it's so lazy. Everything is so lazily done, in my opinion. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to fly halfway across the galaxy to come and say, hey, okay, hi, bye. And then I'm going to leave. It just was lazy, very lazy. Didn't make any sense, in my opinion.
Don't disagree.
To the point where it's just distracting.
Yeah. This definitely wasn't the best out of everything we've seen. This was this was the reverse of WandaVision, where the first few episodes I was ready to give up on WandaVision, and by the end I was glued to my TV. Whereas this was, the first few episodes came out strong, and then it just as it went on,
disappointing. It came out strong, a lot of promise. I think it started to go downhill after the first confrontation with Vader. And then we just got a lot of like gobbledygook fan service that didn't make much sense. No creative dialogue or storytelling besides the things that you already knew were going to happen, or just things you wanted to say. Like, yes, I wanted to see Vader and Obi-Wan fight each other. Okay, I got that, but nothing is going to resonate with me from this going forward.
It's not like when Qui-Gon fought Darth Maul, and then a young Obi-Wan hurt Darth Maul, because he ends up surviving that anyway.
Right. And then music goes a long way too in making things resonate with you. Again, like that scene will always resonate with people just because of the lightsaber, the Maul's lightsaber having two, right? And the music is obviously an iconic song.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like that movie, but that scene will always remain iconic because of
I was just gonna say, think of how, I'm not gonna say crappy the movie was, but think of how unpopular the movie was. But that scene, when that second lightsaber came out, jaw-dropping. Jaw-dropping with the music.
You'll always remember that, You're gonna always remember. I'll always remember a couple things from this series, like the Anakin, Vader killing everyone, just like ruthlessly. I thought that was well done. But in terms of the rest, probably not. I don't know. It just didn't tickle my fancy. I felt like they maybe kind of also set it up for a sequel somewhat. Reva's magically going to survive, it seems, right? She's going to live,
and she's a good Jedi now.
Yeah, so she got some words of wisdom from Obi-Wan. They weren't very good words of wisdom because dialogue writing is terrible, but she got some words of wisdom, so they could use her again in the future. At the end, so lazily thrown away. We finally get Qui-Gon Jinn pops up, and it's a complete throwaway nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, what did he say?
2 seconds of him.
What did he say? Hey, you've come a long way. You got a long way to go.
We have a long way to go.
It's what is that?
I like
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I like that we got Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't. If he wasn't in it, we'd be even angrier. I'll tell you that.
No,
okay?
probably not. Honestly, no.
We would be talking about how they forgot about it and how they led up to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because in the first episode, they talked about Force Ghosts.
That's
and then, but you're right. There could have been several other. I think Qui-Gon should have been in last week's episode. I think it would have made way more sense. It would have made way more sense if Obi-Wan found him before the final battle with Darth Vader, and that's what gives him the strength. And then he pops up again at the end.
Right.
I'm glad we got to see him. I just for the nostalgia, I liked it. Oh shit, what was I going to say before now though? Oh, Vader. Let's not forget about the guest appearance of Vader talking to Emperor Palpatine, who looks nothing like he did by the end of episode 3 and looks nothing like he did by the beginning of episode 4. Yeah. It was like a whole new makeup and a whole new. I feel like he didn't look anything like him.
Yeah, I agree. He looked a little bizarre. The little conversation they had, are they trying to tease Vader's disloyalty in the future, or are they trying to set up more of season 2 where they're going to explore the dynamic between Obi-Wan and Vader more? It was hard to tell. Yeah, I agree. He didn't look great though. Definitely.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's it.
Vader's little castle, that whole scene, that looked pretty dope.
I mean, they do, like the overview zoom out scenes well. I give Disney that. Again, man, Qui-Gon just felt so wasted to me. He's Qui-Gon Jinn. There was Clone Wars episodes he appeared in when he said more wise stuff. When you have a Force Ghost appearance in Star Wars, the Force Ghost is there to drop some knowledge on you and motivate you at a time when you're down, not to be like cameo and then just that's it. Yeah. It's over. Like
this was they used it the way they used it at the end of Return of the Jedi when they're all partying with the Ewoks and there's Master Yoda and Anakin and Obi-Wan all there as ghosts and they're like, yeah, we're at the party too. Like that made sense because like it was over. The Empire fell.
Beat the Empire, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This was just here I am. Hey, hi,
right. Yeah,
you should have said hi.
Again, it wasn't earned. It gave nothing to the thing. Yeah. The only thing I could think of is a season 2 where he'll be more instrumental and they're teasing you for that. But I mean, that may not happen. I don't know. There has been no announcement or anything. So who knows?
The only thing I miraculously did not get anything spoiled for me today. All I knew is that there was a cameo. That was the most of a spoiling that has happened to me today. I didn't know who the cameo was. But all the actors want a season 2. So let's hope. I mean,
I'm not hoping it will, at this point, but
yeah, it will make up for this definitely. Although they could shit the bed all over again. So
I'm now at the point where how many times I'm gonna say, hey, I hope that they fix it in the next thing. So
you said this in a private text that was pretty well. Forget what show we were talking about or what group of shows, and you were like, people just can't end a good series. Like it's almost hard. It's like it's almost too hard. Like the formula hasn't been figured out yet on how
some shows
to end.
Have done it. Like, some shows have done it, just but majority don't. It is a hard thing to do to end a good show. It really is. Like The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, they all botched the endings. But like Breaking Bad had a really good ending, so it's not impossible. It can be done. I don't know. I'm not a director or a story writer. Maybe I should be, right? Because I might do a better job than these people. I kind of really hope there is no season 2, right? Because again, that's it. They're out of chances for me now to fix what they fucked up in the past. What are they?
I don't know. Maybe about a season 2, but maybe a season about Vader, or maybe a season about Leia, a little bit older. It's 5 years in the future now, and Leia's 15 or something.
I'd be down for a Vader series. Yeah, he was portrayed
or
well,
like a Leia series.
He was portrayed very well,
and it could all blend in from what happened here.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe we'll even get a young Mandalorian.
Maybe, right? Yeah, the only thing, honestly, that's been well done recently is the Mandalorian. I mean, that guy's back.
You know why?
Hurting because he's been holding up the whole series himself.
And I'll tell you why. Because the Mandalorian is a complete new story. I knew Leia was going to be safe on that ship because we know Leia survives. I knew Obi-Wan wasn't going to kill Vader because Vader survives. You know what I mean? Like, the Mandalorian is in between the new trilogy and the original trilogy, and it's just a flat out new story with new characters with the aftermath of the Empire falling.
Yeah, I agree. I think Disney is a little bit like nervous to take the story in a new direction with some of the other stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff they're doing is just like old stuff, like they're rehashing.
Well, apparently
they're not doing that well.
Yeah.
So.
Apparently, there's another Star Wars trilogy coming out, but it's all a new story. No Tatooine, no Luke, no.
And that's being done.
So we'll see what it has.
What's his name? Taika Waititi. I forget his name. The guy
I butcher everybody's names. I don't remember half of them.
The guy plays Korg in Thor. He's the one.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. He's So he's pretty funny. He's a good. I think he's a pretty good director. So we'll see. Yeah. And if that's a new story, be good. What do you want to rate it? What do you want to rate episode 6, the finale?
Oh man, I wish I had a little bit more time to think about this. I flew right into this episode. I think I'm gonna give it a 6. Wow. Once again, too short. My prediction was right. We're gonna fit too much into this episode. Reva just teleporting completely across the galaxy to get to Tatooine was complete nonsense. And then, just like you said, there was a lot of unearned parts about this. I enjoyed the fight. I truly did. I enjoyed, getting to see what was left of Anakin make contact with Obi-Wan. Luke kind of fell short, but I guess, A New Hope is all about Luke's story arc and uprising and stuff. Still liked Princess Leia. I liked how at the end she's got the boots, the gloves, and the holster. She's ready to be who we know she's going to become. So, I'm giving it a 6.
All right. I am going much lower than that. I'm going 3.5. I was not satisfied at all. Even my wife was like, wow, that was boring when it ended.
Yeah.
It felt so lazy. Everything felt so lazy. There was no dialogue I'm going to remember, really, outside of Obi-Wan saying, I'm sorry. And I mean, like, I could have wrote that. Anyone, so could you. You probably would have spelt it wrong, but you would have wrote it at least. That's it. I just was not happy. I really am disappointed.
This was a strong start to a bad finish.
Yes.
I'll say
if you want to rate the entire series, what did you think about the entire series as a whole, as a number figure?
God.
I agree with your assessment. It started off so strong with the first 3 episodes, or the first 2
I think episodes. It would be another. It'd be like a 6.5, because the first out of 10, the first half was good. The second half started going downhill. They crammed shit in, So
okay,
I'm somewhere in the middle between 4.5 and 6.5 somewhere,
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5, right? Just because it was half good and half bad. Yeah. The first 3 episodes were pretty good. The second 3 episodes were not that good. The 5th episode was okay, but it wasn't great, in my opinion. So it only gets a 5. Really, after all these years, was a disappointment to me for like something I had been waiting for a long time of, rehashing Anakin and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan's story there.
Yeah.
So, disappointing, to say the least. Kind of glad it's over. Well, we'll move on to find the next thing.
Make these Wednesday nights easier.
Yeah, so the next thing we'll do in review, we will see.
All right, so Doom Nation, I hope you guys enjoyed our Dune reviews on the season of Obi-Wan. I hope you guys enjoyed Obi-Wan. I hope you guys feel the same that we do about Obi-Wan. As always, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Anything else, guys?
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.